Okay, so let's take one more quick review of Great Hope Golf Course in, I believe it's Cambridge. Yes, Cambridge, Maryland. It is just to the southeast of Cambridge, a little out of town. And I have to tell you that it is a good 2 to 3 hour drive out of DC, across Route 50, across the Chesapeake Bay Bridge, and down to the southern, Delmarva corner there. It is certainly not at the beach. It's maybe 30 miles west of the beach, but it's a decent course. I liked it for the fact that it is sort of out there in recovered pasture. It's a very flat course. Almost all the holes are just flat with like maybe a little bit of undulation there, and there's some water there on some of the holes. There's a couple of 3 or 4 kind of decent sized lakes and some creeks and water. It is a hitter's course without a doubt. It's 7,500 yards from the back tees. I would say it's sloped about 135, 140. While the course isn't hard technically, there's no doubt that those tee shots are big tee shots from the back tees, and it gets windy there at the slightest wind. There's relatively few trees on the course. Most of the holes are wide open. There are some holes where you do have some trees on the side, like on the periphery of the course, because it's like mostly a square, the overall layout. And on the left, the sides, the outside of the course, you'll see a wall of trees. On the road where you come by the clubhouse, when you get to the clubhouse, it's more open, and the trees in that part of the course are border trees that sort of border both sides of the fairway. And that's a little bit better in terms of the wind. But on the center, the far side of the course away from the clubhouse, it's just pretty much wide open. If there's any kind of wind, you're going to be in trouble unless you're playing downwind. And it is, without a doubt, this is not just a hitter's course. This is a man's course from the back tees. You'd better have 275 in your bag if you're playing from the back tees on this course. And I will say that for a lot of the holes, that dominates the hole. There's, the first hole is a reasonable length par 4, kind of your standard woods course. The only tricky thing about it is that the OB is off to the right. If you see those mounds on the right side of the hole, OB is that hole side past those mounds, because that's where the driving range is. And it's not obvious that that's OB until you get out there looking for your ball and you see OB stakes. So that was one surprise I think it's fair enough to tell you about. But beyond that, there's not much OB on the course, except for the obvious OB where you're hitting off the course. It's pretty obvious. There's one little house on the course, which is way back on like number 12, way back in the far corner away from the clubhouse. And for the first 9 holes, you're basically just banging the crap out of the ball and hoping you don't spin it or duff it, which is awful on this course. You certainly don't want to duff balls on these 450, 475 yard par 4s and the 550, 600, 650 yard par 5s. The last thing you want to do is duff balls on this course. The center of the course plays around a lake. It has some good shots, approach shots to a lake, dogleg rights, dogleg lefts, crescents around a lake. Very entertaining, nice and fun to play. I have to basically summarize this course and say that the course is fun, long hitter's course, a good challenging course without being really too challenging. It doesn't really kind of get tricked up or anything like that. I'd say that it's a good entertaining round. You'll get a good work out of it. You'll get some sort of okay views around the lake. And it is, I would say, a B+ course in the sense that it's a good hitter's challenge, but in a B- course in the sense that it is kind of a plain course because it is so open and there's not a lot to see on the course. There's not a huge variety and it's flat. Okay. There's some challenging holes. Even despite the fact that it's largely flat, there are some challenging holes that are fun to play, but it's still flat. And that does take out a good dimension of golf that you will see in a lot of golf courses. So it does have to have a strike for that, but it does get a plus because there aren't a lot of houses. There are almost no houses on the course. You don't have to worry about houses on the course. You don't have to worry about people talking, people playing music, or people running around or playing out of someone's backyard or anything like that on this course. That is just not a concern on this course, and that is a big plus. Now, I think overall it does kind of give you a modest, tuna salad on rye kind of feel in terms of what you get out of the course. Luckily, the clubhouse is very nice. It has a great back deck, good views, good sunset views of the last couple of holes, number 9 and number 18. It is a great course to just chill out on, not a lot of road noise at all, and I think it's a good players course, good hitters course, good players course, a good golf course, a good course you can go out. If you want to play short, you can get down to a modest length course by playing the white tees, and then there's the blue tees. I played from the black tees when I was saying it's a really long course. It's a decent golf course. Good, decent course. Absolutely. Worth the drive, worth the 2 hours to drive out there, worth the time to play it, worth the money. It's not that expensive. It was actually pretty cheap for me in golf now. It's $25 on a Saturday starting at 12:30. And I can wholeheartedly recommend this course, but you got to keep in mind it's on the long side, even from the short tees. It's on the long side, and it can get windy, and it can get frustrating if you're not a solid hitter. It does have that one gotcha. You got to keep it in mind if you're going to play this course. Good solid course. Got to give it at least a B, regardless. Just has too many things going for it, but you got to be careful to make sure you can handle the length. That's Great Hope Golf Course in Cambridge, Maryland.